Hey, everybody. It's Coach Les and Misty Yarwood from Yarwood
Hey,
Martial Arts. And we are here today to do episode number 41. Whoop, 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 whoop.
yowzers.
And we are going to be talking about self-talk. What happens when suddenly you're with somebody and they go quiet? They are having a conversation with themselves. Well, let's take a look and let's see. What are 5 ways that self-talk can impact life and martial arts, and 5 practical strategies to implement positive self-talk starting in martial arts training? And we're going to be discussing that for the next 30 minutes. And I want to welcome Mr. Yarwood to get us started.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? So we all think when you hear somebody, like if they're walking down the street, say, and they're mumbling, right? They're talking to themselves. Everybody kind of thinks that's kind of weird. Something's going on, right? But if they really think about it, we talk to ourselves all day long. We say things to ourselves. We look in the mirror. We say hello. We say how you doing. We say I'm not going to turn left. I'm going to turn right. I'm not. You're making decisions all in your head, and it's all using your brain talking to yourself, right? So you literally are having a conversation with yourself. So it's kind of interesting when you hear people thinking that if they're saying it out loud, it's different, right? Somebody walking down the street having a conversation, you don't know who they're talking to. You don't see a phone, you don't see headphones on, you don't see anything. They're just having a conversation with themselves. So hopefully they're answering as well. But self-talk self-talk is I think it's very important, because what you say to yourself, what you put inside your brain is going to manifest itself one way or another. And if you're always putting yourself down, saying bad things about yourself, saying negative things about yourself, saying that you suck, saying that you can't do it, blah, 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 that's what's going to happen, right? So what you say is what you're going to become. So your brain is very powerful, and it listens to you. And no matter what it is you're saying, it's going to respond in kind. So make sure with that self-talk that you are aware of what it is that you're feeding your brain, because it's going to come out. And if you're, maybe you got, I don't know if you know remember Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live? He used to say, I look good, I feel good, and God dang it, right? He was that guy who has deep thoughts. Okay, he would always say nice things to himself. So it's one of those things that it's kind of funky when you hear it, but it's always going on in your head.
Well, I'll
So
tell
say
you this.
nice things.
I'll tell you this much. Zig Ziglar has a life-changing procedure, and it comes in this
Upside down.
I know, on purpose. It's a little card, and it's folded. And what it is, it's called a life-changing procedure. And for 30 days, every morning before you start your day and every evening at the close of the day, stand in front of the mirror in a room by yourself. Look yourself in the eye. The eyes are the windows of the soul, remember? And say, and there's a whole list of things to say, all the way down to here for 30 days. And then after 30 days, you add the next part. And on the back, it says, my personal commitment. I put your name in there. I'm serious about setting and reaching my goals in my life. So on this, whatever day it is, today's Wednesday of May 2025, I promise myself that I will take the first step towards setting those goals. I'm willing to exchange temporary pleasures in the pursuit of happiness and the striving for excellence in the pursuit of my goals. I'm willing to discipline my physical and emotional appetites to reach the long-range goals of happiness and accomplishment. I recognize that to reach my goals, I must grow personally and have the right mental attitude. So I promise to specifically increase my knowledge in my chosen field and regularly read positive growth books and magazines. I'll also attend lectures and seminars, take courses in personal growth and development. I will utilize my time more efficiently by enrolling in Automobile University. Have you ever heard that before? So Automobile University is listening to motivational educational recordings while driving or performing routine tasks at home or in the yard.
Oh, yeah.
I will keep a list of my activities, including the completion dates for each project in my goals program. I further promise to list good ideas, mine and those of others, and to note thoughts, power phrases, and quotations which have meaning to me. And you actually sign it. And then you read this for 30 days. And after 30 days, you add another paragraph at the very bottom. So why do I show this? Why do I talk about this? Because one of the most powerful motivational speakers on the planet up to this point created this, talking about self-talk and how we can impact and for those of you that are looking for an understanding, reprogram your brain.
Yeah, it's one of our rules in our school that I teach day one is a word called can't. This word is very powerful. And when you say can't, it's telling your brain, I quit. It's subconscious and it's powerful. And when you say it over and over and over again, your brain believes it. So you got to make sure we completely eliminate the word out of the vocabulary. You're not allowed to say it. We even call it the C word. And if you say it, you get push-ups, you get burpees, you get something, right? So we make sure that it's gone from vocabulary and it's trained out of them because we don't want them saying it. We're all about maybe currently unable, but if I practice, one day I will get it. It's all about positive forward thinking. Wasn't it Henry Ford that says whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right?
Exactly.
There it is, right? So we've banished that word from the school, from our kids' vocabulary. We encourage the parents to stop using it. It's a big deal. And I hear it just like fingernails on a chalkboard. If somebody says it from across the room, I can hear it. I've been attuned to that word, and I immediately address it. I'll look at them and say, what did you just say? And they already know what I'm talking about.
Drop.
Have you done your push-ups yet? It's it is. I mean, that word is so powerful to the brain. It makes you stop doing things that you want to do. It makes you stop doing things that maybe you think you can do. When you all of a sudden say, "Oh, I can't do it," boom, it shuts off, and it's strong. And if we can teach kids at a younger age to understand the power that words have when they talk to themselves, because I always ask them this. I said, "Do you like it when people call you names? Do you like being bullied?" And they're like, "No, no." I said, "But then when you talk to yourself and you say things like, I can't do it, it's too hard, all that stuff, you're bullying yourself." I said, "What do you think about that?" And they're like, oh, they don't think about it that way. But when you stop yourself from doing things, you're bullying yourself. You're putting obstacles in your way that don't need to be there, and you put them there yourself. So we make it vital that they understand that what they say to themselves is very powerful.
And I think that this is what a lot of people, this would be the number one thing that takes people out of being an entrepreneur.
Definitely.
Most people don't think they're good enough, so they go to work and they listen and they let somebody else control them, somebody else pay them, somebody else feed them, somebody else. And it's, it's one of the things to me that government is not good at. Government wants us to be dependent on that government. And that is the biggest downfall of mankind.
Yep.
Not
Allowing yourself to be controlled by other people.
Not that I want a bunch of fiefdoms either, where we have people fighting and brawling in the streets because I'm going to be in control. I'm going to be in control of you. I'm going to be in control of you. And then suddenly people are fighting. No, to be able to be in control of the person in the mirror, first and foremost, and then to learn how to work as a team. That's where the power exists.
Yep. There's a guy named Andy Frisella.
Yes.
He says personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. So being fit, being smart, being financially stable, not eating junk, right? Eating the right foods. All those things go against what the government or whatever is trying to get you to do. And when you take it upon yourself to do those things yourself, think about you first. Personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion to that. So you first, taking care of all of your things first, and then that spreads to those around you. Once you're taking care of yourself, then you can help others. Just like on a plane, when those masks drop down, right? They say put it on you first, and then move on to somebody else. Take care of you first so you can help others. And if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're telling yourself things that you're not able to do, you're stopping yourself from doing things, you ultimately affect those around you as well.
And I think this comes in also being able to, as it says here, we've talked about boosting confidence, repeating affirmations like I'm strong and capable. It enhances self-belief, leading to improved performance during sparring, testing, or everyday challenges. Many of us remember the little train that could.
Yep,
Why do you think that?
I think I can.
Yeah. And why do you think that started? It started to cause children to create an empowering conversation for possibility. Negative self-talk, like I can't do this, can trigger self-doubt, increasing stress and reducing focus during a competition or high pressure situation. And in life, it makes you susceptible to sickness. If you talk to people that have not, can't tell you the last time they were sick, you will find they're upbeat, they're positive, they are striving every day toward success as they define it. And some of them will look at you and say, I don't know about you, but I don't have time to get sick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I think that's the funnest.
And you think about people like that, they say, even if they are starting to get sick, they start telling themselves they're not going to get sick. I'm not going to get sick, right? That positive reinforcement in the brain. When that brain is like, well, okay, he doesn't want to get sick, it can physically manifest itself into you feeling better. When you tell yourself those things, people think it's hooey or crap or BS or whatever. It's not. It's true. It's just like when you have a vision, right? And you start visualizing what you're going to do. Say you're going to a tournament and you're visualizing yourself doing your form. That's a form of self-talk. You're watching yourself in your brain do the form the way you need to do it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and what's going on in your head. It just sees what you're seeing and it manifests it. And that goes both directions, right? If you see yourself being a failure and screwing things up all the time, man, I can't get anything right. Man, I screwed that up. Man, I don't know what's wrong with me. When you start talking like that, your brain believes it. That's what operates you. That's your operating system. And what you feed it, that input is what it gives you back out. So you got to be careful.
What I'm about to say, I'm not a medical doctor.
Don't play one on TV.
I don't play one on TV. What I do know is what I heard from somebody that was working with somebody that had cancer, and they were going through some alternative therapies, and they were doing super well, and their cancer was, according to medical doctors, looked like it was in remission. And they were giving 30 days to this alternative medicine, and they would go Monday through Friday, and then they'd have the weekend off. And for 4 weeks, and on the about halfway, 3/4 of the way through, I had a conversation, and I had permission to have conversation with the person that was doing the alternative healing. And she said, and I quote, "Les, there's some negative self-talk that this gentleman will not give up. He won't talk to me about it. He won't let it go." And I said, "Well, if you don't let it go, this could be the thing." And he says, "Then if that's the case, then I will die." And literally, when he spoke that, the alternative healer noticed a shift in his journey. It started to go the other way. At the end of 4 weeks, he went home. He then the next week was in the hospital, and they opened him up, and they basically kind of stapled him together. They didn't even stitch him together because they said, he's not going to make it another day. Cancer is everywhere. And he passed away. And nobody knows to this day what it was that he wouldn't talk about. We can only guess. And the alternative healer said there was some self-talk that he would not release. So in my eyes, this is life-altering.
Definitely.
And I've seen it firsthand.
And I think that is a very standard story with people who have terminal illness, right? There's people who they hear that and they immediately say, "All right, I'm going to die." They just literally brought into them death because they decided they're going to die. And then you go the opposite end where they're like, "Sure, I have cancer, but I'm still alive. I still got things to do." Right? And they may have gotten 6 months to live, and 5 years later, they're still going because their mindset is positive, right?
Yep.
Their body doesn't know that they're sick because you won't let it know. You're telling yourself that you're going to make it, that you're going to keep going, that you got things to do, you got life ahead of you, you got people to love, you got people who love you. And when all those things come together, your brain's like, "Let's go."
And we don't. I would say, part of the conversation and why I'm so excited about this is, I would say to this day, the medical community has no clue about the power of our brain.
Nope.
In healing.
Zero. But they think it's all BS, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it, because they don't understand it, so it can't be true.
And they can't monitor it and put it on a machine.
Yep. They can't write it down and track it, so it must not be true. It's incredible.
And I'll share a personal testimony. I had the privilege of walking on fire. And to make a long story very short, I watched them throw a steak onto the coals, and it sizzled up, and it was so hot, it actually caught flame towards the end. and burned up. And then we walked on it. And I was so shocked by my own accomplishment of 12 feet that I went back and got in line and did it again. Because I couldn't believe it.
Yep.
And, you know, they had medical people there. They had an ambulance there. They had trained professionals there. And, you know, the gentleman's name is Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. Unleash the Power Within. That's what it's called. It's his weekend seminar. And he's done things to share with people. He's actually been at an event and somebody says, this is total BS. And he put himself into a state, walked over to a barbecue and picked up a white hot coal in his hand and held it and then put it back in the fire, and his hand was fine. Now, this is a person that for 30 plus years has been training people how to walk on fire. He has something that a lot of us wish, you know, and I happen to have tapped into it to be able to do what I did. And then he does a retreat where you go for a week and you walk 38 feet on coals. And it is all conquering the mindset that we have that things are not possible. And yet we have many instances. The one that a lot of people share is mothers that have a child that's trapped. And they literally lift a car up off the ground to get their child. Because in that moment, they don't look and go, oh no, my child's dying. I can't do this. You kidding? Mm-hmm. There isn't even time for that. They just go, my kid. Right?
Yep.
And then we see martial artists that do things that physically, you know, now a lot with Shaolin monks, right? They do things and people go, that's not possible. That's show, that's TV, that's AI, artificial intelligence, that's CG, computer graphics. No, it's called 20 years of training.
Yep.
You know,
believing that they can do that stuff.
Sun up to sundown. Training the body to be able to do something that is not probable.
I have a belief that our brain has more power than we will ever truly understand. And I think that there are entities out there, people that know this and they suppress it because I believe if people really truly understood how powerful they are, the world would be a completely different place. But when it's suppressed, right? When people in power suppress knowledge like that and we don't even know about it, there's no way to harness it because we don't even know that it exists. So the people who understand that suppress those who don't, and they keep the thumb on the population so that they can continue to be in control.
Yes.
It sounds kind of hooky, it sounds kind of whatever, but there's no explanation for things, right? How do you explain certain things like that? That's strength. Where does it come from? She's physically not that strong. But there's something in here that told her, pick that up and save your child, right? That brain is so powerful that it overcame physical limitations that created that opportunity for her to just move it, right? There's something beyond that we just don't understand, that we haven't tapped into, that is there. It exists. We just don't know how to get to it because I think it's been suppressed so long that the access is gone.
And you know, the other thing that I I see in that, right, is we look at these people that, I make vision boards every year, right? You can see them right behind me for those of you watching, right? And this one I made to do experimental workshops and educational seminars. Well, I can easily look at this and go, I know this. I've created this. I haven't looked at this board in a long, and really looked at it in a while. And next week, it almost looks like this picture, this educational seminar with the tables. I'm going to be giving a seminar next week to 100 plus people. Now, somebody may joke about that and go, yeah, well, whatever. They're just, but I look at it.
You already knew you were going to do it.
Yeah. And, I put down a Mini Cooper. This was about 17 years ago. I cut out a Mini Cooper. It's my childhood dream car. And I cut one out and I laminated it and I put it on my desk on a little clip, a little stand-up clip, and I set the picture there. 3 years after having it, I ended up with the car that was in the picture, almost identical. And I've heard about people that have cut out a house from a magazine, from an Architectural Digest. They cut out a house that they liked the picture of, and they put it on their vision board. 10 years later, they're successful and they're buying a home, and they happen to run into this vision board and they look and it's the exact house.
Now, Andy Frisella talks about that too. He's big into that, right? And if you know who Andy Frisella is, he is like a top entrepreneur. He's right. And, that's what his house that he lives in. That's what he did. 10 years earlier, he was driving around because he lives in St. Louis. He was driving around and he saw this house, right? It's a big ranch, whatever. And he said, that's the house I'm going to live in someday. Just offhanded, right? But he put it into his head and then he continued to think about it and visualize it. And 10 years later, he bought that house, that exact house. He said he's done it with cars. He's done it with everything because he is a firm believer in how powerful the mind is and what it can do. And if you let it.
Yeah. So when we think of this, right? So we've talked about boosting confidence, undermining performance, maintaining focus, reminding oneself to stay calm and breathe, right? It helps maintain composure and clear thinking in both intense martial arts training and stressful life situations. I could tell you something when you get into a tense situation and you're about to argue, there's an old saying where before you say what you're going to say, take 4 deep breaths. And in that space, then choose to say it or not. 99 times out of 100, you won't say it.
Your mind's like, yeah, no.
Right? Partially because of what this is, self-talk can impact you, creating anxiety. The catastrophic thinking, it's called. I'll fail and embarrass myself, can amplify fear and hesitation, affecting reaction time and decision-making in the ring or in life. See, that's the thing. If we're cautious, and we pause and breathe and refocus, and then create that focus and maintain that focus. The other thing is encouraging resilience. Number 5, reframing setbacks with phrases like, instead of, oh, I'm a failure, saying, this is a learning experience. Number 98, let's go for number 99.
Yep. What can I learn from mistakes? What can I learn from these decisions that I've made? What can I get out of it versus Oh, I suck at this. I'll never get anywhere. Yep, you won't. You just told yourself you're never going to do it.
I have a client who is horrible at this. And well, horrible from my aspect, very successful from his aspect, because he has powerful negative self-talk. He literally, and you can watch it. Yeah, and I'll share it. And he says, I suck at time management. And guess what? He does.
Yep. Yep, because you told yourself you do.
And he tells himself, he reminds himself, he lets others know he is creating agreement in the universe around him.
Yep, exactly. And that's a big thing, right? Because it's not only in here, but you send it out, right?
Yeah.
And then the universe responds and sends it back.
Yeah.
It says, okay, if that's what you want, here it is.
So, and here's the thing, whether you're faith-filled, religious, spiritual, whatever it is, whatever point of view you come from, this positive, what I would say, positive mental attitude is the same across the board. It's spoken differently of in a religious environment, in a spiritual environment, in an atheistic or agnostic environment. It's just worded differently. It's the same thing for all us human beings. So I think, Mr. Yarwood, I think this is, I want to continue this topic next week to do the 5 practical strategies to implement positive self-talk in martial arts. And I want to give people some homework between now and next week. And the homework is to find an area in your life, something where you've been negative to yourself. Just one, not, pick
all
one. Don't pick all of them. Yeah. Let's first move the pencil, and then we'll worry about moving the mountain. And think about whatever it is that you've said to yourself about this one thing. Reframe it from a positive aspect. And between now and next week, every time you pass a mirror, even if it's a window that's got your reflection, I want you to create that new positive reframe. Whatever it is, create a positive reframe. And I want you to come back next week and let us know what do you see has shifted. I'm going to share with you, Darlene Eaton has been posting inside the comments, and I just caught her. She started about 12 minutes ago, and this is her first call. Y'all live again. And exactly. And she goes, I believe. Then, wow. And then she talks about her vision board all over her bedroom wall. Kids think she's cuckoo, right? And people
right?
do.
That's what we said. People think it's weird, right? Well, let them think that. That's why they're in the position that they're in, and we're moving forward.
Yep. And she goes, she has photos. She goes, I got photos. And, I would consider myself a little bit of an old dog. And I know Darlene she's younger than me, but we'll put her in the older than younger dog category. And we've learned the new trick. So if we can do it, and Mr. Yarwood teaches this, so if he can do it and he can teach it, we know She goes, not by much. If we can spend this week playing this game to create a positive reframe in the mirror, and in your, when you see your reflection for the whole week, so that could mean that you're doing it 20, 30 times a day. Some of you, it could be more than that. See what happens. I promise you a breakthrough. If you take it on seriously and you do it for the next week, I can promise you a breakthrough.
Yeah, the biggest part of that is seriously, right?
Yep.
Just joking about it, your brain listens to you. And if you're serious about it, your brain will be serious about it. But if you joke about it, your brain knows that you're not serious and it's not going to happen. And then you're going to say, see, it doesn't work. Yeah, because you already screwed it up. You negatively talked yourself into not believing in positive talk.
Yeah, you can't lie
That's
to
a
yourself.
conundrum.
You cannot lie to yourself.
Nope.
It is not possible.
Nope.
As much as
well, you can, but it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna believe you. You can try all day long.
Yeah, you want to try. If you want to try and lie to yourself and see,
I mean, if this isn't working for you, then you already are lying to yourself.
Yeah, I think this could be major for a lot of people.
Yeah, just one thing. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing that one thing and suddenly you start to see results, then what are you going to do? Are you going to quit? I don't think so. You're going to go, you know what? This works. I'm going to try something else. And guess what?
Yeah. So we'll plan next week to go live at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. So we can actually, I know that unless you have something, I think that's a time that works for you, right? Because, yeah.
I do have something, but I should be ready by 9.
Okay. And, we'll do 9 p.m. So that gives a lot of people a lot of time. And Darlene goes, oh, cool. Okay. So we'll at least have one person that's going to give it a whirl. I already know that
it only takes one person to affect change.
Yep. Yeah, and that's 9 p.m. Central Standard. So Eastern would be 10 p.m. EST. Pacific would be 8 p.m. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Would be
Mountain is 9.
Mountain
is 8.
Mountain is 8.
We're 9, Mountain is 8.
And
Pacific is 7.
7. So we will go for that, and pick something. If you want to really take a challenge, find this video on Facebook or YouTube and write it in the comments. This is today or tomorrow morning, and say, this is what I'm taking on.
Yep. Speak it into reality.
Yep. And type it. Really put yourself on the spot. All right. Well, Mr. Yarwood, thank you so much for this. It definitely, today was a challenge. Normally we have intros and outro video. It was probably one of the reasons it was a lot later than normal today. We were planning on starting at 9 and technology and Coach Les were not jiving at that moment. So by next week, I will have it solved. That's my commitment. It only took me a week to get my printer fixed with multiple calls. So there we go. I'm going to do the same thing with having StreamYard, that part of StreamYard mastered by next week. All right. Good night, Carnell. Good night, Darlene. This is Carnell from says okay to play in the game. She's from Facebook, and she says good night. And Darlene says good night, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. And this video will self-destruct in 5, 4,
We'll see
3,
you on the mats.
1. Whoop.